How important is it to ignore the 3D and set your boundaries? Now, when I'm saying set your boundaries, I'm not talking about human boundaries in the 3D, I'm talking about mindset. So, ignoring the 3D is not what many of you think. It's not like you ignore it in a way that it doesn't exist, but what you do is you understand that it doesn't get to decide. Now, because creation is already finished, you are going to be faced with circumstances of all types. So you could be faced with unpleasant circumstances that you have not thought about consciously. Now, when you are faced with unpleasant circumstances, it's your opportunity to reclaim yourself as the God of your reality. Now, many of you, if you are in the God mindset, you won't even understand it's an unpleasant. It would pass right beside you. You won't even understand that it's unpleasant. So for those that it's hard to accept the circumstance as being just creation is already finished, and you feel like you are attacked by the circumstance or that it has some kind of new negative effect upon you, you feel the need to ignore the 3D. Now, ignoring the 3D is not about behaving or acting as if the circumstance doesn't exist, but it's rather understanding that it's from the creation is already finished kind of thing. So it's not something personal with you. Many of you view a circumstance in the 3D, you've already claimed yourself to be something. You view a circumstance in the 3D and then you find fault with yourselves. You say, well, I didn't claim myself to be who I said I am. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe this manifestation thing doesn't work. So a tiny little circumstance is enough to throw you from your manifestation game simply because you do think that the 3D has an influence upon your identity. But actually the 3D never had influence over your identity. You were influencing the 3D. So no matter what the circumstance, every time the circumstance appears, you have the opportunity and you have the chance, so to speak, to see who you are, to see how you react. Now, when you are going to be in a good mindset, when you are going to be in a God state, now you will see that your reactions will be different. You will react differently, like you will have more self-value. Now, even speaking in the 3D, and I don't know how to tell it, but even you defending yourself in the 3D, not that you're creating enemies, but let's just talk about the circumstances, because we do live in the 3D. That's why we came here, for the 3D experience. We didn't come here to, live in a ball of light. So in a 3D experience where you view that there is some kind of circumstance, well, your natural reactions will tell you who you are. Are you a victim? Are you a winner? Now, let's say, for example, a person that has been, let's just say someone that has a toxic partner. Someone manifested a toxic partner from previous ideas of love, and now when you have a toxic partner and then you sit around in the 3D and you beg them, you plead them, you think that's all that you deserve, or that behavior is what you're deserving, then guess what identity you're occupying? Guess who you are in that moment? Well, you're not someone that says, you know what, I'm not going to accept this, I'm going to change this. So many of you might still be in toxic relationships, aka toxic, like 3D words, but many of you might still accept behaviors from people because that's what you think you deserve. Now, I'm not saying just be, you know what, oh, it's okay just because I manifested it. I'm not telling you about that. I'm telling you about have the knowledge that you manifested, but also do something to change it, like do something to change the experience. If the experience is unpleasant for you, don't keep repeating the experience because you have negative thoughts regarding it. Now, this would also be a video that someone requested about detachment, like how can I detach myself emotionally? Well, you're going to play different in the 3D by detaching yourself and knowing that this is a movie that you write the scenario to. Now, about boundaries, And what I mean about you setting your boundaries, I'm not saying you but setting the boundaries in the 3D. I'm saying setting the boundaries for yourself. Now, about setting the boundaries, set the boundaries for yourself. Like, I'm not going to accept the idea that I'm a victim. I'm not going to accept the idea of loss. I'm not going to accept this and this. It's about these boundaries that I'm talking about, like your mental boundaries. And it would be stupid for me to teach you to do something in the 3D while I am a manifestation teacher. I'm not going to teach you to take action in the 3D or whatever. The only thing I'm teaching you to is select the identity that you prefer, because every identity has its own set of assumptions and beliefs. Therefore, you choose who you are, and then the identity will manifest itself through you, which means you're going to react differently through your 3D, even if you might have circumstances that might resemblance to the circumstances that you manifested as a victim that didn't know could manifest, but you'll have a totally different response. Your self image would be different. You will do things from the status of I'm in charge, I'm the boss, I'm not going to take shit, I'm not going to accept this shit anymore, I'm going to change it, I'm not going to accept the circumstance anymore, I'm not going to accept this experience anymore, because you're doing it to yourself, okay, through people. So set the boundaries that, you know what, from now on, I'm going to love myself. I'm going to allow myself to experience the most wonderful things. And now, let's not bullshit ourselves just because we know we're God. For everyone out there that knows they're God, it doesn't mean that your life is going to be robotically positive, that you will only have perfect circumstances. You'll never, ever manifest a shitty circumstance anymore, because this would be bullshit. You are everything, and creation is already finished. It's not the fact that you will never, ever manifest a circumstance, an unpleasant circumstance. It's what you do with it and how you proceed from that on. Do you allow the circumstance to influence you, or do you take the reins and understand and, first of all, withdraw yourself from the experience, from the circumstance? Take a step back, withdraw yourself, and decide who you are if you're faced with a circumstance that you might feel would tend to influence you. So ignore the 3D in a way that you accept that everything is your creation. It will be easier for you to cope in the 3D world. And also set your own boundaries, like be strict with who you are going to allow yourself to be.